Do, 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 do.
Hello, and welcome to Warrior Bowl Live for our second Joe's Not Pros rookie mock draft. So I'm joined as always by Foley, and back with us again, gracing us with his presence and his infinite pool of rookie knowledge. We've got JB.
Made up stuff that doesn't really make any sense, that changes every 5 minutes. This is the guy.
That's the guy you want. So JB, how are we?
I'm good, thanks, dude. I'm good. I'm back home. I've been busy for the past few weeks, but yeah, I'm ready for the draft next week. It's looking good, man. I'm going to stay up late.
Why does it start at 1 a.m., man? That's not good, is it?
It's like they didn't consider us when they planned it.
Actually, what is it? Is day one not start at 8 p.m. our time? But then the day 2, 3 is 1 a.m.
No, I think it's 8 p.m.
No, it's still late.
It's
it's day 2 and 3. It starts earlier, isn't it? Because they do more rounds.
Oh yeah.
Day 2 might be all right. Yeah, but day 3.
But Foley, how are you?
All right. I've got a bad back, but this is probably not the forum for discussing it in detail.
No.
So I mean, I can tell you about it.
It's all right.
All right.
It's good.
I'll just do a bit of stretching.
Good to know. Good to know. So we will kick off momentarily. So for those that don't know, so this is going to be Joe's Not Pros rookie mock draft. So we've got no pros on here, no professionals, no analysts. It's all just your average Joe fans. So we've all seen plenty of mock drafts from analysts, but they never quite pan out the way that your home league drafts do. So we thought this might try and get us a little bit closer to what you might see. So we did one of these a month ago, so we're going to do another one now, and we're going to do another one in a couple of weeks' time after the NFL draft. So 12 people all live drafting, no bots or anything like that, and we're working on the basis of a Superflex, PPR, 1.5 tight end premium. So the same scoring that we use in Warrior Bowl, basically. So
you're going Trev again, JB.
So, I mean, when we get there, I can explain.
Well, I will kick us off, JB. So you get going. You get talking.
So, obviously, yeah, Trev is probably the guy at this point. But I'm a big Justin Fields fan. And I think if he went to San Francisco and I was at this point, I would seriously consider it, because I just feel like all the other things that San Francisco kind of bring to the table, the 49ers kind of organization, offensive kind of system, I just feel like Justin Fields in that role, do you know what I mean? And if they embraced his kind of skill set a little bit and just added maybe 10% of the playbook to kind of like, you know, really maximize his potential, I don't know, man. I just feel like I'd really consider it. I think the 102 is probably the nicest spot to kind of be in this year.
You are pronouncing Mac Jones in a very strange way. Jonathan.
Well, I actually haven't got any people. Like, I can't see anybody like to draft. It's weird. There's no one up on my screen. I can't pick anyone.
What do you mean?
Have you? I can't see any players.
Yeah. Really not in the usual place.
Yeah, I know, but I can't see him on this, so I might just have to do it on my mobile real quick. But yeah, at this point, obviously, we don't know who's who or where people are kind of going. So I think I'm just going to go with the kind of default pick and choose our man, Trevor. You might have to put him in for me, dude. Let's have a look.
I thought I was the guy with the crap tech.
I've done it, mate.
That's my USP.
Yeah, thanks. I'll do it on
USP.
I'll do it on my mobile. Yeah, but I don't know why I just can't do it on my.
That's why we have Foley here. He doesn't understand the rules, and he barely knows who the players are. We don't need two people doing that.
the representing the everyman.
I know what to do. I'll put it into Internet Explorer instead, into Safari, and then I'll be good.
I've got the 102 in a dynasty league. The one that all three of us are actually a lockdown league, and I think that's by far my favourite pick at the moment. 102. You don't have to take Trevor. You might get him there actually if somebody, what you said, jumps up and takes Fields, and you're not going to be unhappy getting Trevor at 102, are you? So
mate,
I think it's the best place to be.
It's amazing. It's a really nice spot.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'd be happy with that than the 101 really, because then you don't have to make a decision.
Here we go. So,
Yeah.
so I would have quite liked to have taken either Wilson or Chase at that spot, but they weren't both performing, which is not a massive surprise. It's not uncommon for those guys to be going
Always the way.
Top 5. So I'm pretty confident Foley will be hoping I don't take Pitts at this point.
Oh yeah, don't. It's the only one I like.
So I think for me, even though he's supposedly the second coming, I'm not going to take Pitts, so I'll leave him for you, Foley.
Thanks, mate.
But I am going to avoid a quarterback, I think, because I'm not as high on Trey Lance as everyone else seems to be, based on my limited knowledge. And so I'm going to go with the guy that I like as the next best wide receiver after Chase. I'm going to go for Bateman.
That's a shout. That's a good shout. Would it have changed your mind if Jones does go to the 49ers, for example?
Potentially, yeah. I think any of those QBs, whoever lands in that 49er system has got a great opportunity to have a fantastic production. So that obviously changes things. Whoever lands up there is going to end up being a sought after guy, aren't they? But for the time being, while we don't know where they are, probably not. He's arguably going above Fields, isn't he? If Fields, depending on where he lands, if Wilson goes to the Jets, but we'll see.
Yeah. Right, so I've got a minute to talk about my pick. Let's go into a lot of detail about the ins, the outs, the rounds and abouts.
We all know who you're taking.
You have to there, don't you? I mean, this is worryable scoring, isn't it? So anything that's tight and premium, where you're potentially getting a Kelsey type potential, you've got to take it there, haven't you?
Yeah. You can't argue with that. And I've seen him going as high as 102, even in some non-premium leagues. I've seen him going 102 in a few mocks.
Lord.
Yeah, if he is worth the hype that he's getting, then you might got yourself a steal at that spot. But
if he lands on the Falcons, wheels up.
He's not going to land anywhere really. He might. I've seen him mock there a few times.
I've seen him mock there. I don't see it. I think they go if they stay in that pick. I think they take Parsons. I think they need more. I think they need more on defense than they need on offense.
Take the linebacker at 4.
I don't. Well, maybe. I mean, it would be interesting. No. I think ultimately you want to trade down. Do you know what I mean? And get more picks. Parsons is brilliant, but I don't think you need to pick him that early.
You can probably get him mid-first round, can you? I would have thought.
Yeah, you could.
But if Falcons are at 4, if no one's trading. If they can't trade back to the middle of the round, then maybe they just have to take him if that's their guy.
They have to take the best player available, and that would be Pitts.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have long to wait until we can find out.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're near. Oh, I was going to say we're nearly at the end of the first round, and Smith hasn't gone.
I like Devonta Smith.
Am I the fourth receiver off the board?
Feels like I'm the only person who likes Devonta Smith. Everything I see on Twitter.
I don't dislike him.
Just because he's skinny. I used to be skinny. Long time ago. Long time ago.
166 did he weigh in today?
Yeah, but he just get to the gym, eat a few burgers. He'll be all right. Put a bit of weight on.
JB, back to you.
Oh, yeah, sweet. So I thought Mac Jones would have gone earlier, considering the format. If he had fallen to me, I probably would have taken him on double QB and then, seen what happened. But yeah, I think at this point, there are a load of wide receivers still that I really like, but there's a pretty steep kind of drop when it comes to a running back. There's only one other guy that you really, really want, and that's Javonte Williams. I think I have to pick him at 2-1, and I think that is a massive steal considering how good he is. So, and the potential kind of workload he could have. He's a 3-down back, going to get goal line work because he's solid as well. Do you know what I mean? To get him at the 201, that is pretty awesome, to be honest.
Yeah, depends where he lands, doesn't it? But you'd assume that he's going to be towards the back end of the first round, not later, really.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
He's decent in pass pro as well, isn't he? So he's got that.
Yeah, man.
He's not going to get dragged off. So like a lot of rookies will get dragged off the field on third down if their pass pro's not up to scratch, but he's decent. So
yeah, he's really
got the
good
opportunity to stay on the field.
Yeah.
JB, you really going to stay up and watch it?
Yes, mate. Yeah, 100%.
All right. Make sure you make wings though. Don't order them in. Seriously. Just a little bit of salt. Put them in the oven. Crisp them up.
Well, how about if I buy the wings, you guys make them for me, and I just come round pick them up just before?
You know we'd do that.
Yeah, I know you would. That's why we're good friends.
We love cooking wings.
You can have some.
Well, I said this the other day in our group chat, and I'll say it again now at the risk of a backlash. But for me, wings are wildly overrated.
Stop it! You can raise £10,000 for charity, and people are still calling you a scumbag for that kind of chat. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense.
You might be right. Brevin Jordan there at 2-3, he's moved up a lot. He was going sort of end of the second, early third a little while ago, and Freiermuth was going ahead of him a lot of the time. But
yeah, he was.
To be honest, I from a fantasy perspective, I like Jordan over Freiermuth. I think Freiermuth will be a good NFL tight end, but maybe not. I think Jordan's the better, the more dynamic receiver. So from a fantasy perspective,
yeah, it's a better
he's probably the better guy. But
I've read a couple of lists in preparation for this, which is unlike me at this time of year. But, and I came across a tight end called Tommy Tremble. What a good name that is.
It's a great name.
Oh, here we go.
What do I do? Just activate Tommy Tremble? What was that? Who was that? Was that you?
No, that's my mobile.
Unprofessional, JB. Unprofessional.
It's a good name, that though, isn't it?
Tommy is a good name.
Yeah, it's great. It's like a Bugsy Malone gangster name, isn't it?
Yeah.
But he's petrified all the time. That guy.
Yeah, but he's still cold.
Oh dear.
Mate, I am.
Are you putting that down as a joke?
Yeah, it was a good joke, wasn't he? What's Dan going to be up to? I'm not going to lie.
Did someone just text you that joke?
No one texted me anything.
Oh, Terrace Marshall, that's the guy I was going to take.
That's the guy I would have taken.
Thanks, Dan.
I wouldn't have been able to.
Yeah, it's a good pick.
Thanks, Dan.
And Kenny G. I don't know anyone else now. That's pretty much it.
I've seen Terrace go like the end of first round. So
yeah. It depends where he lands. Again, he took over the Jefferson role, didn't he? LSU, and did a good job.
Yeah, he's got kind of everything you want.
There doesn't seem to be as much hype about him though, considering how well he's doing.
It's because of who he played with, like alongside at the same time. Do you know what I mean? There's got to be one guy that no one is going to talk about as much, but he's great, man. LSU wide receivers, isn't it?
Yeah,
they're a good breed.
So I'm gonna go. So there's a guy that I normally seem to end up taking whenever I do mocks in this sort of spot, but I'm not going to take him because I'm purely for the fact that I'm curious to see where he ends up going if I don't take him here. So instead, I'm going to take Tylan Wallace.
Tylan Wallace.
I would have taken Marshall had he reached.
Yeah, so would I. I mean, from running back perspective, I probably only know the names of another 3 or 4, so I'm probably not going to risk it. I know Michael Carter, Khalil Herbert's been getting a little bit of buzz from what I've read. Chuba Hubbard had that one season, then no season. So, don't know. I'm going to probably go wide receiver. And the reason I'll choose Tony, actually, is because he's been mocked to the Saints on pretty much every single mock I've seen. So it's a kind of homer pick. But also, if he does go to the Saints, if he was there at the Saints, that would be a pretty tasty landing spot, I think, with only pretty much Mickey T and nobody else.
Yeah, he's actually really good as well, dude, just in general. Yeah. So, yeah, man, it's a good pick.
Go Saints. Go Saints. Yeah.
It feels like that one of those guys that could be very, again, we say that about a lot of these people, that are very landing spot dependent.
Yeah,
in Tony, because he's a bit like a human joystick, isn't he? In the way that he flies around and some of the cuts that he makes. But if you just try and use him, if you don't use him right and you don't use his skill set right, he's not going to
He's a big enough lad. What is he? 6 foot, 193. So he's not small, is he?
Yeah, he's a big dude. He can play the alpha. But yeah, you're right. He's more of a kind of.
Is that the guy who was at Florida with Pitts? Did I just
right.
pick 2 Florida boys?
Yeah, it's 2 guys.
Mate.
That was basically their aerial kind of offense, just them 2.
That's why I picked them 2 together then.
Well planned.
Yeah.
So you need to pick up Trask on the next run then, basically, and then you're sorted.
That is my plan. Now, if I'd explained that differently, I'd look like a genius.
If you'd have realised the coincidence that you fell into 30 seconds earlier.
Could have passed it off as something good.
Yeah.
Good. Dick going double running back. What a guy.
That's interesting.
They're the only names that he knows, aren't they?
It's because he tried to draft Tuba last year, didn't he? I'm sure he did. We're in our rookie for our dynasty thing. I'm sure he tried to draft Tuba. I'll take Hubbard.
Oh man, Salin just took my guy.
Elijah Moore.
Yeah.
Is he the slot guy?
Yeah, so he's a slot guy. And there are loads of slot guys though in this year's kind of draft. Loads of kind of players that kind of profile.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry guys, I've turned it down now. But I'd imagine I'd say he's probably the best. I'll just do my pick first.
Yeah, I like Moore. He's a guy. Between him and Wallace. Me, when I made that last pick, so
yeah, he's been kind of comped to someone like T.Y. Hilton, but if you watch him play, he looks a lot like Antonio Brown, and like he's very savvy. He's got great hands. Do you know what I mean? I think if he lands in like a high volume, say you went to like the Buffalo Bills or something, and like Beasley and Emmanuel Sanders are on there like kind of like last season. Do you know what I mean? Someone like Elijah Moore there next to Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis would just eat. It would be pretty good. So I am looking for a wide receiver that I think could be a number 1. And there's 2 guys, but the guy I like most is Seth Williams. And he's kind of like, he's got everything you kind of want. 6'3", over 200 pounds.
He's a big lad.
He's a big lad, basically. So yeah, at this point, if I'm not picking guys that are like, don't have that ceiling as such. I kind of want a wide receiver that could be the guy, and it's either him and one other person at the moment.
On the when I had my pick before, and I said there was a guy I wasn't going to take that I normally take. So they got that. It was Michael Carter, who I think I took at that point last time when we did this last draft. And obviously you went there. Pike took him there at the end of the.
He dropped quite far though. At the end of the right at the end of the second round seems quite late for everything. Any mocks I've seen, he's usually gone way before that.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I'm quite high on him. I think probably higher than a lot of people, right now, wrongly. But
is he not a bit too skinny?
Michael Carter.
Yeah, 199 pounds.
He kind of profiles more as like a third down back, definitely.
Like a Derek Cohen or something, a bit bigger than Cohen, obviously, or something like that.
Yeah, but he's the kind of guy that is kind of good enough to carry a workload for a short period of time. So he has more upside and more potential kind of durability than your smaller guys like Cohen. You wouldn't want to run between tackles or whatnot. Do you know what I mean? So
you're squashed.
Yeah, he's good. He's really, really good, man. If you could get him in the 3rd round, or I guess 212, then I think you'd be happy.
Yeah.
He's another guy. If he lands in a spot, I'm not convinced he gets drafted in the NFL draft to be the number 1 guy out and out like you probably would expect Etienne or Harris probably will. But if he ends up in like a questionable backfield sort of situation, like
Gibson last year,
like Gibson or Robinson at the Jags, I think he could easily. He's got a good shot to try and win that job. So as long as he doesn't get buried somewhere on behind.
True.
Yeah. Gets drafted someone like the Lions and he's sat behind Swift or something ridiculous that nobody wants. But
Come on, Danny boy. Who's he taking? Trey Sermon.
Oh, that is killing me. Literally killing me.
This is what he's good at, isn't he? It's what he's good at.
Wilson, I like Marshall, Sermon. Who invited that guy?
He's really good at annoying people, isn't he? So
he is good at
that is totally on brand.
Over the years, Dan has done that so many times to me. Like, do you know what I mean? And then he doesn't trade either. So like, there's no way you're going to get any of those people off him.
I'm going to throw it out there and tell you I don't know who the hell that is.
Yeah, JB, give us the rundown of Ifmith Smith Marset, please.
Mate, no, I don't know what Posh has done there. To be fair, he's done some research.
He's from Iowa.
No idea who it is.
So Sleeper says. Anyway, Posh, if you want to jump on the chat and tell us who the hell that guy is, or if I'm mistake,
that'd be lovely.
I'm guessing he could have got him in the 4th round,
or the 6th, or the 7th. So there's always that one guy that nobody knows, that somebody loves, that ends up being decent. So I'm going to give him that.
Yeah, he might well be. He watches a hell of a lot more college football than I do. I know that for a fact. So
yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me if he knows what he's doing.
He says he's a burner from Iowa, deep threat. He's got the same
Army Brown,
same weight as Deshaun Jackson. So he's probably that kind of guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was going to take the Army Brown because that's the next guy that I knew the name of.
Good plan.
Seeing as I've actually been looking at players today, doing a little bit of research, I'll take this young man because apparently he projects as a possible 3-down back. He's got all the skills. He's done really well last year. I think he transferred schools or something, which is why he's not necessarily being talked about as much. But he's got the weight. He's got the right kind of height. So yeah, I'm going to take a flyer. Khalil Herbert.
I like Herbert. I think he's a good
Thanks,
guy.
man.
He makes, from the bits that I've watched of him, he's a good one cut and go guy. He's got a good pace. So I think if he lands in the right scheme, as we said, with a lot.
Do you think you think he's definitely getting drafted? He's not going to be one of those undrafted guys who comes in potentially and does like a Robinson.
Possibly. That's it with the running backs. They've been so downvalued at this point, aren't they? That there'll be guys like Robinson. It's not an every year occurrence, is it? An undrafted guy that breaks out like Robinson. But
I remember reading last year that the stats, and I definitely don't know off the top of my head, but they were pretty spicy. That any kind of running back drafted after the 3rd round is a ridiculously small chance of actually being usable in fantasy at any point in their careers. It was a scary stat if you're taking any running back that's gone 4th round or later. But then you get people like Robinson who just pop up out of nowhere and are brilliant in the first year. Just like that.
I've just noticed I've taken 3 receivers so far.
Interesting.
I like the fact you strategized that. The fact that you looked at it and went, oh.
Oh, hello.
They're all blue.
And I need running backs. Weird. Dick, Dick, get on the chat. Tell us who Nico Collins is, because you don't know.
I like Nico Collins as well, and he was the guy that was planning to take in the 4th if he was still around.
Yeah, he's another one of those guys. He's a beast. Yeah, he's a big dude.
He's a bit different in this draft class, and exactly as you said, he's a big dude, and most of the guys in this class are not big dudes.
Yeah, that's right.
So he's going to fill a different role to what a lot of these guys will.
Yeah. So yeah, Dick's kind of done it like, he's a bit more of a kind of a project as such. But at the same time, like similar to my Seth Williams pick, he's picked someone who could potentially be an alpha. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
number 1.
Yeah, number 1. And that's at this point, that's kind of what you want. You just want someone with that potential role, that ceiling, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, so it could get there, even though it might be unlikely. But with a lot of others that you might pick around here, they couldn't get there. So there's just no point in even trying. Yeah,
sure.
That's what the 3rd and 4th rounds are all about, isn't it? In a rookie bit, it's just seeing if you can get somebody who could eventually be really useful.
Oh, here we go. I'm so happy. I was waiting. I was waiting. So obviously, tight end premium. I didn't want to
Tremble.
No. So my pick is a bit of a
Don't you
dark.
touch your boa.
No. It's Hunter Long, who I think is a sleeper at tight end.
Yeah.
He's been comped to like Jimmy Graham / Hunter Henry. He's got all the tools. He's a big dude. He can pass block and he can catch. He's just not as athletic as Jimmy was, do you know what I mean, in his prime. Yeah. But I think in the 4th round in this kind of format, if you can get someone with Hunter Long's potential kind of upside,
yeah,
without having to pay, do you know what I mean, for like, in a round 2 for like someone like Freiermuth or Jordan.
Yeah. Is it unusually shallow tight end this year? After the,
it's actually quite a good class, like, because you don't really get like 4 people that you would be happy to pick. Do you know what I mean? Usually you get guys later on, but you just kind of pick them and hope they turn into something after 3 years. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah,
this year I think Pitt's obviously generational, but then Jordan, Freiermuth are guys that you could probably start week 1 and get some like low, like kind of tight end 2 numbers or whatever, potentially, depending on where they go.
Yeah.
I don't think you get that every year. I could be totally wrong. But apparently Hunter Long last year, if he came out in the 2020 class, he would have been the number 1 kind of tight end prospect.
Oh, really?
Yeah, both Cole Kmet and Adam Troutman.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Well, last year's just tight end class wasn't considered a good class, was it?
No, it wasn't.
I'm just, lads, I'm going to quit. I'm just going to turn this off. I'm going home. The only reason I turned up tonight was to take my boy Yeboah.
Because you talk about him in the group chat too much.
Dan's not even jumped up out of his seat and gone, Yeboah! He's just clicked the button.
That is top trolling right there.
Disgraceful.
So I can either. What do we want to do? Do we want to round ourselves out with 4 wide receivers, or should we mix it up a little bit? I'm gonna mix it up. I'm gonna throw a curveball name out there. Yeah, I probably wouldn't draft at this point if it was a proper draft, because there's a good chance you get him off free agency afterwards. But I'm gonna take this guy.
What? That's even worse than Yeboah. You don't know who that is.
I do know who that is.
Give us a breakdown. Where did he go to high school?
Somebody's grandson.
I know where he went to high school. Oh,
that's not too bad, actually. That's not too bad.
Well, that's one of your better ones, That's worrying.
It's terrible.
That was my pick. Right, I'm going to pick Amari Rodgers because I've heard some good things about him. I've heard he's actually got the skills, the potential, and everything there to be, like you said before, to be a number 1 on his team. And a lot of people are seeing him as their favourite sleeper. Some people that I do respect on Twitter. So
like him.
Yeah, he's good.
He is good.
I'm happy with that.
He's not the biggest, but he's he's decent.
He's a bit more. He's only small, isn't he? What? I think I got him. He's 5'10", but he's 210 pounds. So he's
5'10" is not too bad.
He's stockier than some of the other
like a Debo.
Yeah,
Debo's 6 foot, isn't he? Or is he?
Pass.
Cornell Powell. That's the guy we thought sounded like an estate agent, wasn't it?
It is.
Joe Bowl.
Have you not got any insight for me then, JB, on Kylan Granson?
Mate, I've never heard of him. No idea who that is.
6'3", 235. He's basically a wide receiver, but slow. Bad pick.
Thanks, mate.
Bad pick.
As I say, it's not somebody I would probably draft at this point because I very much think you get him off of free agency afterwards. But I liked him. I watched a little bit of film on him, and I just thought he looked a lot more dynamic than a lot of the guys supposedly ranked above him. So like people like even like Hunter Long and Tremble, I just thought he looked more dynamic than those guys. So he's somebody that I would, as I say, I wouldn't draft him, but I'd certainly take a flyer on him off waivers and free agency and that sort of stuff afterwards.
Is nobody going to take Tutu Atwell? I thought that'd just be. I thought he was like so small. It was just like one of those fun picks that you've just got to take.
What was he? What 149 did he weigh in at today?
Something like that, yeah.
That is. I think something. He would be the lightest player drafted since 1999.
Would he not just be squashed? Like actually squashed?
if he's not careful.
What if just like an old lineman just falls on him? Would he not just die?
Well, I think I had him down on this figures that I've got here. I had him listed weight-wise as 165.
Yeah, that's what it says on Sleeper.
So he's checked in at 149. So
lost a bit of weight. Yeah, he realised he had a bit of timber around the side.
he had some weights in his pockets, didn't he, when he got weighed in the first time round?
Basically,
he looked in the mirror and thought, "I'm fat. I need to get down to my fighting weight."
Dick took Trask there. That's, to be fair, that's who I probably would have actually taken. If it wasn't for the fact that I wanted to take Grandson for something different, because I think he's probably better than he gets a little bit of credit for. I'm not sure he's going to be a big standout, massive career in the NFL, but he could definitely do a job as a decent backup, and if he gets the opportunity, be a competent starter. Which again, if you're going to take a guy in the 4th round, a QB that's got the opportunity to maybe end up with as a competent starter is some good value.
Yeah. I forgot about him. I think I probably should have took him.
Yeah, Pike took Tutu out well, just to make sure he didn't slip through the net.
Good lad. Yeah. Cheers, Pike. Good lad.
But there we go. There we have it. Joe's Not Pros rookie mock draft number 2 in the books.
As you can tell by the board.
Yeah, I think the biggest climber is probably, if I remember correctly, I think I got Rashad Bateman at the 201 last time. So the fact that you've taken him, the fact that Sunshine, you've taken him at the 106, that's big.
I will tell you. So he went 201. He went last time.
Yeah.
Mac Jones was at 106 last time. And he's ended up at 112.
Was that you last time? You were 106 last time.
It was. I took him. Yeah, I took him. So the start off with last time it started: Lawrence, Fields, Harris, Wilson, Etienne. Then Mac Jones, Pitts again at 7. Trey Lance went at 8, so he fell back a little bit. And then Chase was at 9. Smith 10, Kurt Warner obviously 11.
That's why this draft makes more sense.
Exactly, because Kev's not here.
Because Kev's not in it.
Well, yeah.
Exactly. And then 112 was Waddle. So
he's jumped up there, hasn't
he? Yeah, I think Elijah Moore's jumped up too. Oh, Pete's just said that as well. Yeah.
I think the thing for me is that I remember this time last year was the first time I'd had an off season as a dynasty owner. So I started the year before last, and I remember this time last year not really knowing that much about rookies. But then the day after the draft happened, everything just kind of fell into place about who are valued and who I didn't value. And I suppose it's the wrong way to go about it because it should really be talent over opportunity, shouldn't it? Long term, if you're talking about dynasty, but. I'm pretty sure that's the way I'll look at this again. Like early next week, I'll probably just have a look at where people are and look at immediate opportunities and factor that into value.
Yeah,
I think it's useful to have an idea of the guys before the draft.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, sometimes people just get hyped out of all rationale just because they've landed in this spot. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah,
which it might be.
Yeah,
but you potentially going to then overlook guys.
Or they're buried, but they're really
arguably
good.
Better, but have not ended up in quite such a good landing spot. So it's useful to have a bit of an idea beforehand of what guys, who you like, who's better than who.
Yeah,
that sort of stuff. But
looking forward to rookie draft season.
Yeah, me too, man. I think I take on board everything you guys have just said, and then one other factor which I think is probably kind of connected to landing spot. But it's just knowing how the offense might use them. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, for example, I think Jalen Waddle could be absolutely amazing. Do you know what I mean? Depending on where he goes. I mean, you know, you've heard the cliches, the comps to Tyreek Hill, but if you think about the way that the Chiefs use Tyreek Hill, he's unstoppable. Do you know what I mean? And like Jalen Waddle has the same kind of skill set. Do you know what I mean? So if he went somewhere where they really kind of utilize like the kind of vertical passing game, they get him to do those kind of like 15-yard outs that are just really hard for cornerbacks to kind of cover. Do you know what I mean? They obviously need a QB that can hit him as well, you know, and not everyone's got Patrick Mahomes, but I think Jalen Waddle's ceiling, if he lands in a place where they're really kind of like, they kind of like try and emulate that, he could just be insanely good.
Yeah.
I think that's it with this wide receiver class. You've got probably 5 or 6 that have got the potential, if they land in the right place and they're used correctly, to be really productive.
Yeah.
Receivers pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It's just depending on how they get used and where they end up and all that sort of stuff.
I agree.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, in which case, I think that's a good point to wrap it up. So thank you, boys, very much for joining me and doing that. Thank you to everybody that took part in the draft. Very much appreciated. We appreciate you coming on and getting involved. Obviously, it's as a lot of people have seen on Twitter, there's a lot of noise about charity leagues at the minute. Obviously, we've reached the start of Scott Fish Bowl season and all those sorts of invites flying out.
Yeah.
So if you haven't already, get yourself signed up for Warrior Bowl. The website is warriorbowl.com. All the information's on there about the event, how it works, the scoring, all that sort of stuff. Charities that are supported. So get on there, check it out. Sign up if you haven't. We had 240 teams last year. We're aiming for 480 this year. So get yourself signed up, get your friends signed up. It should be bigger and better this year than it was last year. And we can't wait to get started. So thank you very much, gents. Thank you very much. And we will see you all in a couple of weeks for the next mock draft after the NFL draft. When we actually know landing
will make more sense.
Yeah.
Stop just saying, well, depending on the landing spot.
I mean, stop just saying, I don't know who this guy is, but I'm going to pick him.
Yeah.
Exactly. So thanks, guys, and we'll see you soon.
Nice one.